Welcome to the Utah Football Fans Podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, go Utes. I mean, obviously the biggest headline in all of college football last week, and still now, is Nick Saban retiring. Nick Saban, arguably, probably the greatest college football coach of all time, decided to retire. Were you surprised? Did you think this was coming? I was surprised. I kind of thought he was just going to be one of those guys that just does it forever and ever and ever.
I was surprised. I had not heard anything at all. I was very surprised. To be honest with you with that. Honestly, it's kind of weird because, we've been critical of Saban and Alabama and all that stuff, from year to year, because you kind of get sick of the dynasties. Because let's for me, if I'm going to be honest, Saban is the best college quarterback ever, or coach ever. How many championships? 6?
5, 6. I believe. I'd have to double check it, but I think he had 6.
I mean, but the reality is every year, Alabama is in the mix for the national championship ever since Saban got it going. So props to him. I was surprised. And I think I'm going to miss having Saban and the way he runs Alabama. We're not up against them ever. It's just, you just get tired of seeing him in the Final Four. But having said all that, you have to admire the guy. Dang, he is really a great coach, and it's just going to change the whole atmosphere of college football without Saban at Alabama. That's a weird thing.
Yeah, it is weird. And they corrected it. They had 6 at Bama and then 1 at LSU, so he's got a total of 7, which is, ridiculous. Yeah, I am 100% on board with you, Gary. I was surprised. I don't know. It's tough because I was really surprised. Like it took me off guard a little bit. But at the same token, he's 72 years old. College football has changed so dramatically over the last couple of years. Just what college football is now is 3 years ago. It's a world of difference, right? We know from personal stories, kids will walk into the coach and just be like, "How much are you going to pay me?" That is the recruiting now. And they'll be like, I'm sorry. Well, school X is going to pay me this much. How much are you going to pay me? And I think that it's taken a lot on coaches. And again, the guy's 72 years old. What more does he have to prove? But yeah, I'm with you. The greatest coach of all time. We talked a lot of crap on him just because I got so tired of him winning. I really, really hope Bama takes a step back. I pray that Deboer does not just walk in and pick up right where they left off, and they're right. Their fan base needs to come back down to reality a little bit. So, I'm happy about it, but it will be weird to not have Nick Saban coaching on the sidelines of Alabama. Who knows where he goes, if he ends up somewhere else or if he's broadcasting. I don't know. Maybe he's just fishing on a boat somewhere. But
coaching.
I
don't think you want. I think the way college football has changed. He's 72.
Yeah,
all the wins. He's the GOAT of coaches.
No, he's not going to come back coaching. No, I think broadcasting, I could definitely see. He'll pop up on different interviews. Even when his team wasn't playing, he was at some of those games, like as a broadcaster. I think they're going to do that. I even heard, and it's totally a rumor, and maybe it was totally false news, but they were going to replace Lee Corso with Saban. I don't know how I feel about that on game day. But, I've listened to some SEC. Yeah. Yes, Amy, we
miss saying that.
Lovingly would call him Dick Saban. We can still call him that. But
out of respect, he's Nick tonight. Out of respect.
Out of respect
to you, Nicholas.
But no, listening to some other broadcasters who are fans of other SEC teams, they are beyond thrilled that Nick Saban is finally gone. And just the trash talk I was listening to some people say, it's hilarious because they are just so excited to hopefully now be able to maybe compete with Alabama. I think they'll take a step back. I don't, it's hard to walk in there as the brand new coach and just you can't pick up the dynasty of Alabama. I don't see that happening, but I guess we'll see.
That's a lot of pressure on Deboer to walk in. I mean, you think about it. You're replacing the greatest college football coach of all time. That's a lot of pressure. I can't imagine going in there, because you're right. Like, you walk in and let's say your first year you win 8 games. Oh, you're already on the hot seat because it's Alabama. You win 8 games. The next year you win 9 games, 8. You're out. Like, it's crazy the expectations that they have down there, because they're so used to just kicking everybody's butt and just every year stamping their ticket to the SEC championship game without even having to think about it. Well, that might change now. I think Deboer can go do some great things, but man, it's crazy. It's really funny though. I've heard some whining coming out of Bama talking about how the transfer portal is not fair now because their coach is gone and all their guys are leaving and all this sort of stuff. Wah, Alabama.
Deboer's going to be. We don't
Cry.
know. I think he's going to be good. I think
he'll be fine.
And here's how with Deboer in this era, it's going to take money. Mm-hmm. It's all about the money. Even at Alabama, who can get paid, and you got to have the cash. Well, all you have to do is have Saban. Saban is still going to be involved in interest in Alabama. Saban gives a few calls and say, yeah, we need some cash to support the program. They're going to have plenty of money. Who knows if Deboer is going to succeed or not, but I'm a little bit surprised by the hire, but Deboer is a good coach. He has succeeded at different levels, but with lesser talent within the levels he was playing, and he would always win. He comes into Washington and did what he did. Give him top tier talent across the board like he does and will get at Alabama. I think he'll do fine, but no one's Nick Saban. That's the problem. You could win 11 games and you'll be considered a loser when Saban's winning 12 every year and, in the Final Four all the time. So that's the tough side of it. I think Alabama's going to be fine though, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, my first instinct was that it was going to be Dan Lanning. I thought that he was probably their number one guy to go to, and maybe he was. I loved his little video that he put out on Twitter when he basically said, no, I'm staying at Oregon. I mean, I do like that guy. I'm kind of glad we don't have to play him anymore. But I do like Lanning. If I had to, that was my first thought, is I thought they were going to go to Lanning. So Deboer,
they may have.
I know Steve Sarkisian was another name that was thrown around. Maybe they went to him as well. I don't know. I don't know where Deboer was on the list, but I think it's good. Deboer, he's a great coach. I think a lot of people forget that he did the same thing at Washington that Lincoln Riley did at USC. USC and Washington had the same record. It was like 4-8 or something like that. And in 1 year, they turned it around to 10-2. I might be a little off on those numbers, but it's something like that. And Deboer did the same thing that Riley did at USC. But Riley gets talked about so much more. But look at Deboer. He played in the national championship this year. So I don't know. I think it's going to take him a little bit to get his system going, to get the way he plays, obviously with the players and everything transferring, and then who he's going to bring in. But it's shaking things up. It's going to be strange to see that different makeup of the SEC now. And then Jedd Fisch is going to Washington now. Oh man, the meltdown of Arizona fans this week. I feel your pain a little, not a little. I feel your pain because it was so reminiscent of Urban Meyer to Utah fans back in the day, where he kept saying to Utah, no, I love it here. I'm sticking around. Don't you worry. I'm going to stick around. And then he's gone. And seeing the meltdown of Arizona fans, that's what it felt like to me. But I'm not surprised that they went after. Yeah, Rose.
You're with James. James is right on the same page with you.
Rose, I'm with you. I wanted to feel bad for you, Arizona fans. I did. I get it, right? You finally, after years and years and years and years and years of suck, you finally get a guy who brings some light to your program. You finally have a respectable season, right? 9-3, that's respectable. You mean you didn't play in the championship game? Okay, fine. And then you go and you show out against Oklahoma in a bowl game. Awesome. Great job, everybody. I hope that this one season keeps you warm at night, because do not forget, Arizona fans, you are a basketball school. Stick to it. Okay. It was incredible to see the amount of Arizona football fans that came out of the woodwork to talk crap after I hadn't heard from them in 10 years. And all of a sudden, here they are coming out of nowhere to talk crap. And then, yeah, like a smart businessman, Fisch went, you know what? It ain't here. It ain't going to happen in Arizona. I'm out. So what's your solution? You go and hire a guy, Brett Brennan from San Jose State. I'm sure he's a very nice man. I've never met him. His overall record is 34-48. Okay? That's your new head coach. That's your new head coach. The best year that he had was the COVID year. Was in 2020. They went 7-1. And in fact, they lost to Arizona in a bowl game. That's their best year. Other than that, trash.
Well, here's
the
reality.
It isn't
Arizona.
It's Fafita staying, their QB, and I heard their QB, it's Fafita, and then that dang, who's a wide receiver? He was top notch.
Yeah, they're both staying as of right now. They have a podcast that they do together, and I listened to it. And neither one of them have announced that they're leaving. For selfish reasons, I want them both gone because, gosh dang it, they're both tremendous football players. But yeah, as of now, they're staying.
But here's the reality of the situation: Arizona has no money. They have no money because of whatever was going on at that university and in the athletics department and all of that. So, I get the Arizona fans are so upset that Jedd Fisch has been going around saying, I'm never leaving. I love it here. And honestly, he probably wanted to stay. But in reality, when he goes to the head of his department and says, hey, I've got this offer from Washington. Can you match it? And they literally can't. They have no money. And you're hiring a guy that has a losing record.
Can I just jump in there? I heard that it was even more. It wasn't even that. It's that they didn't even want that the powers that be didn't want to do it. It wasn't just about the money thing. Is that they didn't put football first, or however you want to say it.
They didn't want to keep Jedd Fisch around?
Yeah. It was more like some schools, it's football first, and we'll make anything happen.
Yeah.
With the money, with the player. I mean, that's SEC country. If they want a guy or they have a player, they'll work it out. I heard that it wasn't that with Fisch, is that there was the offer out there, but the administrators, powers that be, weren't all in for it, and they're not all in on the sports like some schools. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, Jedd Fisch at Washington. I mean, I've got respect for the guy. I think he's a good coach. Obviously he was always very complimentary of Whittingham, so I think if he keeps that model, he'll be successful. But Washington, I mean, they're losing all their guys. Everybody, which isn't surprising. I mean, they're all going to the NFL or people are transferring. So I don't know who he's even going to have up there to play on the roster. So I don't know. But Arizona,
that's their problem.
That's their problem. Washington, good luck in the Big Ten. Arizona, we'll see you next year.
Arizona, back to the basement with you. Go back down where you belong. You poked your head up for a year.
Beat us once out of the last 10 years.
Congratulations.
In reality, it's just Jedd Fisch didn't want to play Utah next year on the revenge game. He wanted to get out before that happened. But
I think it's so funny how many people,
except for that last touchdown.
I don't care about that. He comes out and everybody is going, He said he was going to be here forever. He said he loved it. He said he was going to be. I'm just going, what else is he going to say? Every single head coach in America is going to say that. And then a school is going to come to you and offer you $7 million a year. And you're going to go, no, I said on a podcast 2 days ago that I really like it here in Tucson, Arizona. Give me a break. All these holier than thou people, you know how for $7 million, give me a break. Come on.
James,
have some perspective.
Don't you know anything you say on a podcast is binding
yeah.
by law?
Yeah, no kidding.
Well,
right, moving on.
Speaking of Washington and the Big Ten, can
I just add one before you go there, Bryn?
Okay.
If there's any Michigan people who happen to be listening, and they probably will listen later, and we alluded to it, but what do people think? Is Harbaugh gone? That's my question. Is Harbaugh going to go to the NFL, or is he staying?
No, he's gone. He's gone.
I think he's out.
For all the reasons we said this last week, I just think he's ready. He's kind of been ready, and I think he doesn't want to deal with all the NCAA crap anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm with you, Bryn.
He reached what he needed to do, national championship, and now he's going to go do the NFL thing.
Kobe's right. I think Mr. Khakis is going to go off into some other, and I don't think it's going to be the Raiders, James.
No, they're keeping Pierce.
I think they're going to keep Pierce.
They should.